Chicago, the city of big shoulders. The Black Metropolis. For over a century, this city hasn't just been a backdrop for history. It has been the engine room of black wealth in America. While Atlanta flashes its cash and New York guards its old money, Chicago operates on a different frequency. It is the city where the black press was born, where the first black billionaires were minted, and where political power was refined into a science. The women we are about to meet aren't just wealthy, they are institutional. They don't just own businesses, they sit on the boards that run the global economy. From the descendants of publishing dynasties to the self-made moguls of the South Side, these women have turned the windy city into a fortress of capital. Stick around until the end, because the woman at number 1 didn't just break the glass ceiling. She bought the building, renovated the boardroom, and became the most powerful black woman in corporate America. Number 10. Andrea Zop, the corporate architect. If you want to understand how money moves in Chicago, not the flashy money, but the serious structural capital that builds skylines and shifts policies, you have to look at Andrea Zop. While she may not have the tabloid fame of a pop star, in the boardrooms of the Midwest, her name carries the weight of a heavy hitter. Zop operates at the intersection of law, civic leadership, and venture capital, a trifecta that has made her one of the most connected and influential women in the state of Illinois. Her wealth is built on a career of high-stakes problem-solving. Starting as a prosecutor, she rose to become the first woman and first African-American to serve as the first assistant state's attorney in Cook County. But in Chicago, the real money is often found where public service meets private enterprise. She transitioned into the corporate world with a shark-like efficiency, taking on executive roles at utility giant Exelon and retail behemoth Sears Holdings. These weren't token positions. They were heavy operational roles that came with substantial stock options and executive compensation packages. However, her true financial evolution began when she stepped into the world of venture capital. Zop is a managing partner at Cleveland Avenue, a venture capital firm founded by former McDonald's CEO Don Thompson. Cleveland Avenue isn't just an investment firm. It's a food and beverage accelerator that backs the next generation of restaurant concepts. By positioning herself as a key decision-maker in this fund, Zop has moved from being a salaried executive to an equity holder in high-growth startups. Her wealth is further bolstered by her seat on corporate boards. In the American financial system, board seats are the quiet engines of wealth accumulation. Zop has sat on the boards of publicly traded companies like Relativity and Urban Innovations firms, earning six-figure retainers and stock awards annually just for her guidance. Beyond the balance sheets, she runs Cast US, an initiative focused on bridging the gap between minority talent and corporate leadership. This isn't just charity. It's a strategic pipeline that ensures her influence and her network remains indispensable to the city's economic future. Andrea Zop represents the Chicago model of wealth, deeply intellectual, fiercely political, and built on the understanding that if you control the infrastructure, the money will follow. Number 9. Diane Primo, the marketing and real estate dual threat. In a city known for its towering skyscrapers and brutalist architecture, Diane Primo has carved out a fortune by mastering the soft power of narrative and the hard power of property. As the CEO of Purpose Brand, an award-winning public relations and content marketing agency, she has positioned herself as the go-to crisis manager and brand architect for major corporations. But to pigeonhole her as just a PR maven would be to miss the massive real estate portfolio that anchors her family's wealth. Diane is one half of a Chicago power couple, married to Quentin Primo III, the co-founder of Capri Investment Group. Together, they have navigated the high-altitude world of commercial real estate investment, managing billions of dollars in assets. While her husband moves the capital, Diane shapes the story, and in the modern economy, the story is often worth as much as the bricks. Her agency, Purpose Brand, specializes in ESG, environmental, social, and governance marketing. This is a lucrative niche. As Fortune 500 companies scramble to prove they are socially responsible, they turn to experts like Primo to craft their messaging. This consulting work commands premium fees, allowing her to build a liquid fortune independent of the volatile real estate market. Her lifestyle reflects this blend of corporate grit and Gold Coast elegance. The Primos are fixtures in Chicago's philanthropic scene, but unlike the new money crowd that flashes labels, their spending is focused on impact and access. They are major benefactors of the Primo Center for Women and Children, an organization tackling homelessness. This isn't just a tax write-off. It is a legacy play, cementing the Primo name on buildings and programs across the city. Diane's personal wealth is difficult to untangle from the broader family empire, but her individual standing as a business owner puts her firmly in the multi-million-dollar tier. She is a published author, a thought leader on purpose-driven business, and a landlord to some of the city's most vulnerable populations through her charitable housing initiatives. She proves that in Chicago, you can do good and do very, very well at the same time. Her fortune is a testament to the power of diversification, owning the agency that tells the story, and owning the real estate where the story takes place. Number 8. Chaz Ebert, the intellectual heiress. When the legendary film critic Roger Ebert passed away in 2013, the world lost a cinematic voice. But Chicago didn't lose the Ebert empire. In fact, under the stewardship of his widow, Chaz Ebert, that empire has not only survived, it has digitized, expanded, and flourished. Chaz is often underestimated as merely the wife of, but her resume paints a picture of a ferocious litigator turned astute businesswoman. Before she met Roger, she was a high-powered attorney, a trial lawyer who understood the intricacies of contracts and intellectual property. That legal background became the fortress that protected the Ebert brand. Today, she is the CEO of several Ebert enterprises, including Ebert Digital, which publishes RogerEbert.com. Under her leadership, the site transitioned from a personal blog of a famous critic into a global aggregation platform for film criticism, employing writers around the world and generating revenue through high-value advertising and licensing deals. She didn't just keep the lights on, she renovated the entire power grid. Her net worth, estimated in the range of $9 to $10 million, is also tied to intelligent investments in the hospitality and tech sectors. She organizes Ebertfest, an annual film festival in Champaign, Illinois, that attracts Hollywood A-listers and keeps the family name in the cultural conversation. But her most interesting asset might be her empathy tech ventures. Chaz has pivoted into investing in technology that promotes compassion and human connection, placing her early in a niche sector that is gaining traction in Silicon Valley. Her lifestyle is one of cultured affluence. She is a regular at the Cannes Film Festival, not just as a guest, but as a power broker, hosting events that bridge the gap between Chicago's creative scene and the French Riviera. In Chicago, she resides in the kind of sophisticated, book-lined luxury that implies old money. She is a major donor to the arts, supporting theaters and educational programs that train the next generation of critics and filmmakers. Chaz Ebert proves that intellectual property, your name, your reputation, your archives, can be just as valuable as real estate if managed with legal precision and visionary intent. She took a legacy of words and turned it into a legacy of wealth. Number 7. Desiree Rogers, the turnaround queen. If corporate resilience had a face, it would look like Desiree Rogers. She is the woman you call when a brand is dying, and you need to breathe life and cash back into it. A Harvard MBA with a New Orleans pedigree, Rogers has navigated the highest levels of American power, from the corporate boardroom to the East Wing of the White House. But her true wealth story is about ownership and reinvention. Many know her from her tenure as the White House Social Secretary under President Obama, where she brought a level of glamour and access to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue that hadn't been seen in decades. However, the real money came after Washington. Rogers returned to Chicago and took on the daunting task of saving Johnson Publishing Company, the historic home of Ebony and Jet magazines. While digital shifts made print a dying industry, Rogers spotted the diamond in the rough, the cosmetics line. She teamed up with her longtime friend and business partner, Cheryl Mayberry McKissick, to acquire Black Opal and Fashion Fair. This was a masterstroke. Fashion Fair was once the premier makeup brand for Black women, but it had fallen into obscurity. Rogers bought the distressed assets, revamped the packaging, reformulated the product, and relaunched it at Sephora. By taking a heritage brand and giving it a modern retail engine, she tapped into the billion-dollar black beauty market. Her net worth, estimated in the mid-single-digit millions, is liquid and growing. She isn't just a CEO collecting a salary. She is an owner capturing the upside of a retail revival. Before cosmetics, she served as the CEO of Peoples Gas, a utility company, and held high-ranking roles at Allstate, accumulating a portfolio of stocks and pension benefits that form the bedrock of her financial security. Her life in Chicago is the epitome of the Gold Coast socialite. She is known for her impeccable style, often wearing high-end designers like Comme des Garçons and Alexander McQueen, and her presence at the city's most exclusive galas. But unlike the socialites who just buy tickets, Rogers chairs the committees. She sits on public boards like MDC Partners and Inspired Entertainment, positions that pay six-figure annual fees for her governance expertise. Desiree Rogers represents the executive entrepreneur. She used her corporate training to spot a market inefficiency, the undervaluation of Black heritage brands, and used her capital to seize it. She didn't just inherit history, she refinanced it. Number 6. Lyndon Johnson Rice, the guardian of the dynasty. To speak of Black wealth in Chicago without mentioning the Johnson family is impossible. Lyndon Johnson Rice is the heir to one of the most significant fortunes in African American history. Her father, John H. Johnson, founded Johnson Publishing Company in 1942, creating Ebony and Jet magazines and becoming the first Black man to appear on the Forbes 400 list. Linda didn't just inherit money, she inherited a monarchy. Growing up, her playground was the iconic Johnson Publishing headquarters on Michigan Avenue, a building that was the epicenter of Black culture for decades. She started learning the business at the age of 6, sitting in on meetings and understanding the power of advertising revenue. While the media landscape shifted brutally in the 21st century, leading to the eventual sale of the magazines, Linda's wealth remains substantial due to the family's diversified holdings and astute divestments. Her net worth, estimated around $10 million to $12 million, is secured by the sale of the photo archives, a collection of images documenting Black history that was sold to a consortium of foundations for $30 million. This deal ensured that while the magazines changed hands, the capital value of the history her family documented returned to the estate. But Linda isn't just living off the past. She is a powerhouse corporate director. She sits on the board of directors for Omnicom Group, a global advertising giant, and Enova International. These aren't honorary titles. They are paid positions that place her at the table of global capital. She also serves as the CEO of Johnson Publishing Company, which, stripped of its magazines, now focuses on its cosmetics and audiovisual content, licensing the family's intellectual property for documentaries and films. Her lifestyle is one of quiet, insulated privilege. She grew up in a world where Michael Jackson and Muhammad Ali were dinner guests, and she maintains that level of elite access today. She lives in Chicago's most exclusive neighborhoods and is a trustee of the Art Institute of Chicago, influencing the cultural direction of the city. Lyndon Johnson Rice's story is a lesson in wealth defense. In a rapidly changing world that destroyed many legacy media companies, she managed to extract value, pivot the business model, and preserve the family's standing in the elite circles of Chicago society. She proves that the hardest part of wealth isn't getting it, it's keeping it when the world changes around you. Number 5. Valerie Jarrett, the ultimate insider. Power is a form of currency, and by that metric, Valerie Jarrett is one of the wealthiest women in the world. But her bank account is pretty healthy too. Jarrett is the ultimate Chicago insider, a woman whose Rolodex connects the White House, Wall Street, and the South Side. Born in Iran to American parents, she has deep roots in Chicago's African-American elite. Her grandfather was Robert Taylor, the first African-American chairman of the Chicago Housing Authority, and her father was a pioneering pathologist. Jarrett's wealth, estimated between $10 million and $20 million, is a mix of high-level corporate compensation, book deals, and savvy real estate moves. Before she was the senior advisor to President Barack Obama, she was the CEO of the Habitat Company, a massive real estate development and management firm in Chicago. Real estate in Chicago is a contact sport, and Jarrett played to win, overseeing billions in development projects. After her time in the White House, she didn't retire. She capitalized on her expertise. She joined the board of directors of Lyft, the ride-sharing giant. Board members at tech companies of this scale are often compensated with equity grants that can be worth millions. She also sits on the boards of 2U, a massive educational technology company, and Ariel Investments. These positions provide a steady stream of passive income and stock options. Jarrett is also a best-selling author. Her memoir, Finding My Voice, came with a significant advance and speaking tour fees that command tens of thousands of dollars per appearance. Currently, she serves as the CEO of the Obama Foundation, overseeing the construction of the Obama Presidential Center on the South Side. This role puts her in charge of a billion-dollar project that will reshape the city's economy. Her wealth is access capital. She knows where the regulatory bodies are moving, she knows who is funding what, and she positions herself at the gateway. Her home in the Kenwood neighborhood, near the Obamas, is a testament to her standing as a pillar of the community. Valerie Jarrett shows that in Chicago, politics and profit are not separate worlds. They are just different departments in the same building. Number 4. Jennifer Hudson, the EGOT tycoon. From the church choirs of Englewood to the billionaire bunkers of Burr Ridge, Jennifer Hudson's trajectory is the stuff of Chicago folklore. But unlike many celebrities who leave the Windy City for the Hollywood Hills and never look back, Judd kept her roots, and her real estate, firmly in Illinois. With a net worth estimated at $30 million, Hudson is one of the youngest women on this list, but her earning potential is arguably the highest. She is an EGOT winner, an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony recipient, a distinction held by only a handful of people in history. This isn't just a vanity metric, it is a financial multiplier. Winning an EGOT significantly increases the fees she can command for films, albums, and appearances. Her wealth began with her Oscar-winning role in Dreamgirls, but it was sustained by her shrewd moves in television and real estate. She served as a coach on The Voice, both in the US and UK, a gig that pays millions per season. More recently, she launched The Jennifer Hudson Show, a daytime talk show. In the TV world, a successful syndicated talk show is the golden goose. If the show hits the syndication benchmarks, like Oprah's did, the ownership stakes can turn a millionaire into a billionaire. Hudson isn't just the talent. She is an executive producer, meaning she gets a cut of the back-end profits. Her lifestyle is a blend of Hollywood glam and Midwest comfort. She famously purchased a massive castle-like mansion in Burr Ridge, a wealthy Chicago suburb, for around $3 million. The 12,000-square-foot estate features a floating staircase, a home theater, and enough space to house her entourage and family. Buying it at a discount during a market dip showed a sharp eye for value. She also invests in the community, notably through the Julian D. King Gift Foundation, honoring her late nephew. Hudson's wealth is talent equity. She took a raw, undeniable gift, her voice, and built a diversified entertainment corporation around it. She is the face of the new Chicago money, self-made, global, but unapologetically local. Number 3. Michelle Obama, the global brand. Technically, she lives in Washington, D.C. and Martha's Vineyard now, but make no mistake, Michelle Obama is Chicago royalty. Her story, her brand, and her financial foundation are inextricably linked to the South Side. And since leaving the White House, she has transformed from a first lady into a financial powerhouse. The Obama family's net worth is estimated to be over $70 million, and a significant portion of that was generated by Michelle's own ventures. Her memoir, Becoming, wasn't just a book, it was an economic event. It sold over 17 million copies worldwide. The advance alone was reported to be in the tens of millions, part of a joint $65 million book deal with her husband. But the book was just the tip of the iceberg. The accompanying book tour filled NBA-sized arenas, with tickets selling for hundreds of dollars, functioning more like a rock concert than a literary reading. Then there is the Netflix deal. Through their production company, Higher Ground Productions, the Obamas signed a multi-year deal with the streaming giant estimated to be worth tens of millions. Michelle is not just a name on the credits. She is an active producer and creator, launching shows like Waffles plus Mochi that expand her brand into the lucrative children's market. Her speaking fees are legendary. For a one-hour speech, she reportedly commands upwards of $200,000 to $700,000. Do the math. 10 speeches a year, and she out-earns most Fortune 500 CEOs. Despite the global fame, her Chicago ties remain lucrative assets. The Obama Presidential Center in Jackson Park is not just a monument. It is a massive capital project that anchors the family's legacy in the city's real estate and civic life. While she spends time in her $11 million Martha's Vineyard estate or their $8 million DC mansion, her influence in Chicago is omnipresent. She proves that the most valuable asset you can own in the 21st century is your own narrative. By controlling her story, Michelle Obama turned political fame into generational wealth, all while keeping the South Side as her spiritual and strategic home base. Number 2. Oprah Winfrey, the matriarch of media. Okay, we have to address the elephant in the room. Does Oprah live in Chicago anymore? Not really. She sold her famous Water Tower Place condo and mostly resides in her Promised Land estate in Montecito, California. But you cannot write a script about Black wealth in Chicago without bowing down to the woman who built the house. Oprah Winfrey is the architect of the modern Chicago media landscape. With a net worth of $2.8 billion, she is not just the richest Black woman associated with Chicago, she is one of the richest self-made women on the planet. She arrived in Chicago in 1983 to host AM Chicago, a low-rated morning show. Within months, she took it to number 1. But her genius wasn't in hosting. It was in ownership. She founded Harpo Productions, Oprah, spelled backward, in Chicago, eventually building a massive studio complex in the West Loop. At a time when most entertainers were employees, Oprah insisted on owning the show, the tape, and the syndication rights. That decision is the reason she is a billionaire today. Every time the Oprah Winfrey Show aired in a rerun, anywhere in the world, Oprah got paid. She single-handedly transformed the West Loop from a gritty warehouse district into one of the trendiest neighborhoods in the city, driving up real estate values simply by being there. Even though she has physically moved her primary residence, her financial DNA is woven into the city. The Oprah Winfrey Network, OWN, her partnership with Discovery, continues to generate massive revenue. Her real estate portfolio is a global map of luxury, spanning California, Hawaii, and Colorado. But the capital that bought those homes was minted on West Washington Boulevard in Chicago. She remains a major donor to Chicago institutions and a godmother figure to the city's Black elite. Her inclusion at number 2 is a nod to the fact that while she may have left the city, her money and her legacy are the foundation upon which almost everyone else on this list stands. She taught the world that Chicago wasn't just a flyover city, it was a launchpad for global empires. Number 1. Mellody Hobson, the billion-dollar connector. If Oprah is the queen of media, Mellody Hobson is the empress of capital. And unlike Oprah, she is still right here, waking up in Chicago, working in Chicago, and running the city's financial heartbeat. Mellody Hobson is the richest and most powerful Black woman living in Chicago today. As the co-CEO and president of Ariel Investments, she manages a firm with over $16 billion in assets. But her personal power goes far beyond her salary. Mellody is a boardroom titan. She is the chairwoman of the board of Starbucks, the first Black woman to head the board of an S&P 500 company. Think about that. Every time someone buys a latte in Tokyo, London, or New York, the governance of that transaction traces back to Mellody Hobson in Chicago. She also sits on the board of JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the United States. Her personal net worth is estimated in the hundreds of millions, but her household net worth? That's in the billions. She is married to George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars. Together, they are a financial superpower. But Mellody is self-made. She grew up the youngest of 6 children in Chicago, often facing eviction and financial instability. That trauma fueled a relentless drive to understand money. She joined Ariel Investments as an intern after Princeton and rose to run the company. She didn't just marry a billionaire, she was a corporate star before they even met. Her lifestyle is the pinnacle of Chicago elite. The couple owns a breathtaking penthouse at the Park Tower on the Magnificent Mile, one of the most expensive residences in the city. But their real footprint is in their philanthropy. They donate millions to the University of Chicago and various educational initiatives. Mellody's influence is systemic. She created the Ariel Community Academy to teach financial literacy to inner-city kids. She advocates for Civil Rights 2.0, which she defines as financial equity. She proves that true power isn't just having money, it's managing other people's money. She is the gatekeeper of capital, the confidant of CEOs, and the undisputed heavyweight champion of Black female wealth in Chicago. Mellody Hobson didn't just climb the ladder, she owns the building the ladder is in. And that concludes our deep dive into the 10 richest Black women in Chicago. From the boardrooms of the Loop to the sound stages of the West Side, these women have rewritten the rules of wealth accumulation. They prove that Chicago is more than just a city of labor. It is a city of capital, ownership, and legacy. Which one of these moguls impressed you the most? Was it the self-made hustle of Desiree Rogers or the financial empire of Mellody Hobson? Let us know in the comments below. We are chronicling the rise of Black wealth across the globe, city by city. If you want to see who runs New York, Houston, or London, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to Black Status. The revolution will be financed and these women are writing the checks. I'll see you in the next one.